sound. Devo Jones with the pick six, Keanu O'Neal with the hard hit, getting the ball back on offense. Watch Julio Jones keep moving the sticks. Calvin Ridley in for the score. We came back, we up four, about to get in. Our victory stance, no coming back. We closing the door. ATL blackout. ATL blackout.
Welcome to the show today, baby. This is your boy Jimbo Dean, aka Jimbo Slice, aka Jimmy Obama. And you can call me any one of those you want, but please do not call me no damn New Orleans Saints fan. This is Pound4PoundATL, and me and Big Mike Dub, baby, is finna give y'all some fantasy football talk, man. And look, everybody needs some fantasy football talk, so why not get it from us, Falcon fans? But at the same time, we NFL fans. It's fantasy football going down, getting close to the end of the season, getting close to the playoffs. And man, you gotta know who to sit, who to start, who injured, who on the bye, all that good stuff. Big Mike, what is going on over there in Atlanta? Ground Zero. You ready to talk some fantasy football to the fans, Big Dog? What's up, man?
Hey man, like I said, man, this is your fantasy football hub. Like I said, I know y'all listen to us, Pound for Pound family. We usually talk our Dirty Birds. You know we love our Dirty Birds. Shout out to Raheem Morris. Shout out to the Dirty Birds. But this week is about fantasy, man. Like I said, last week was a week of depending on who you were, you know, you really had some players last week that might have overachieved much more. DJ Chark or some of those guys that, you know,
good call
maybe
on that one too. Good call on that one.
Hey, and it may be time to kick the bucket on a guy like, you know, maybe Zeke and those, you know, maybe Zeke and those guys, even though they did look good against the Steelers. So, the Cowboys as a whole look good against the Steelers. So, like I said, fantasy wise this week, man, we got some interesting matchups and a couple guys, like I said, that if they're not on your radar, definitely should put them on your radar.
I want to start with the latest trade, right? I want to start with Le'Veon Bell. Recently got traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to ask you this real quick, Mike, and then I'll get my thoughts after this. Are you ready to drop Le'Veon Bell? Are you ready to start him? Are you ready to flex him? Or are you ready to drop him? Let me know about that because the numbers ain't been there. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been getting, the bulk of everything. Maybe Le'Veon Bell will come later, but it might be playoff time by that. Are you ready to drop him, or are you gonna sit him, or are you gonna flex him? What you gonna do with Le'Veon Bell, big dog? Because there's a lot of questions out there about him right now.
I really think of Le'Veon Bell as a guy that you really want to sit right now, just because of the way, if you look at the way the Chiefs have been winning. I think they've been feeding Kelsey a lot. They do a lot of play actions, right? They do a lot of, they got their own type of plays. It's hard to really quantify and put into words exactly what the Chiefs are as an offense, but they're extremely dynamic, right? So I think because of the dynamicness of the offense, especially because they love to throw a lot of passes out of the backfield to Clyde Edwards-Helaire as well. They like to get him involved in space, and I really think that he's the better space running back. And I would say it's kind of, I'm not going to say that Le'Veon is washed up or anything like that. I would say that, he doesn't necessarily have the same explosiveness from the Pittsburgh Le'Veon that we may be expecting. So I think right now, I would keep him on the bench. I mean, I think he's more of an RB3, maybe an RB4 at this time. But again, he's a guy to watch. He's kind of a week-to-week guy. And I think that, he is a good enough running back that, he's capable of taking him to the house at any time.
And I got a feeling as soon as you drop him or as soon as you sit him, he's going to blow up. I just got that feeling, you know what I mean? So if you want to drop him, go ahead. But don't be surprised if as soon as you drop him, he blow up. That's kind of how it happened. That's kind of how it happened in the fantasy world. Okay, now I want to jump over to the quarterback position real quick. It's a rookie coming out of Miami, the University of Alabama. Tua Tagovailoa. Would you, if your QB1 is struggling right now, or say like the Atlanta Falcons who's going on the bye, which is Matt Ryan is going to be on the bye, so you won't be able to play him. Would you pick up a Tua and play him if you got Matt Ryan on your fantasy team, or would you go another route? How would you do that? Because in my fantasy league, I'm a bench. Matt Ryan is on the bye. I'm gonna put him down. And I'm gonna play Tua, man. I'm feeling comfortable with Tua right now as my QB1, and it probably like a nothing to lose type of situation. But if your QB1 is on a bye right now, you probably want to walk over there to Tua and see what's up and put him in and see what happened. He haven't hit that rookie slump yet though, so like I said, I'm gonna put him in. Matt Ryan's on the bye. I'm gonna sit Matt Ryan. I'm gonna go in and get Tua off the waiver wire. He might still be a free agent, and I'm gonna start him. What you think about Tua over there in Miami, man? What you think? What would you do with Tua?
I'm really starting to buy Tua. I'll tell you why, because I think that what Tua is doing is he's doing what makes me feel good in rookie quarterback. That means they're targeting They're just targeting the open man. They're not zeroing in on a receiver. I got to get Parker 8 touches, 9 touches. I think that he's spreading the ball evenly enough that Tua will continue to progress up to the point that let's see who do the Dolphins have? Who do the Dolphins have this week? Who are they playing against this week? So let's see.
They got the Los Angeles Chargers this weekend. That might be a start, Mike.
I think that might be a start. So I'm glad you finished that one out with the Chargers, because I think that the Chargers defense it's really been blowing leads the last 4 or 5 weeks. I think they are really good at the quarterback position, which does make me think that Tua will have more opportunities offensively to kind of show what he can do, right? Because Herbert, Bear, whatever, he's gonna score. He's gonna get
a shootout. It's gonna be a shootout.
Definitely gonna be a shootout. So good call on Tua. I think Tua is worth a start.
And don't forget that Los Angeles Chargers is they defense is they ranked number 29th on fantasy football right now. So Tua against the 29th defense, you might get some points out of that. If you got Matt Ryan, can't do no worse than Matt Ryan did. I can see people going with that kid if they quarterback is being benched or your quarterback is just not up to par. So let's jump over to Jefferson, Jordan Jefferson, the wide receiver out of the Minnesota Vikings. Now he been hitting here and there. Now, I got to give him his props, having Kirk Cousins, that quarterback who don't throw really good balls and who fold under pressure. This kid's still been putting up points. So let's go to his stats real quick, and I'm gonna look at his stats really quick. Okay, against Tennessee he had 30 points. Okay, against Houston he had 14 points. Against Seattle he had 5 points. See, that's your worry right there, that he might dip off the time that you pick him up. Against Atlanta, Atlanta he had 40 points. He had 39.60. He had almost 40 points against us, but they're lackluster because I was secondary. And then this is where he tailored off at, when they playing in the division. Against the Green Bay, he had 5 points, and against the Detroit Lions, he only had 9. So if you got Jordan Jefferson, if he playing in the division, you might not want to play him. You might want to sit him, or you could flex him. 9 points as flex is really not that bad. But if he playing outside of the division, you want to start Jordan Jefferson. You want to start him, and as soon as you see him not playing the Lions, the Lions, the Packers, or the Bears, you probably want to start Jordan Jefferson. How do you feel about Jordan Jefferson? Are you comfortable with him with an RB1 or RB2? I'm comfortable with him with a flex outside of the division. I mean, in the division, but outside of the division, I'm putting him at my RB1 or RB2. I mean, WR1 or WR2. How you feel about that, about Jordan Jefferson?
Well, right now, Justin. I think it's Justin Jefferson.
I'm saying Justin Jefferson.
No. It's all good. Justin Jefferson, right? So I'm going to sell on Justin Jefferson right now, because I think we touched on it a little bit earlier, right? Because as far as if he was a guy, I would say a week or two ago, if you had him available for a trade, you probably should have took the trade, because I would say that within the division, Justin Jefferson is not going to sneak up on anybody, right? I think it's no secret that Kirk Cousins usually has his greatest success when he's throwing to the tight end or when he's throwing to Thielen, right? Those are his two guys.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna work those two guys. It's kind of why Stephon Diggs wanted out of Minnesota, because he felt like Kirk Cousins plays favorites, right? And I think it's no different with this guy. I think that he is a rookie that is capable of going off any game. I think that, again, he's another guy that if we talk about, you should sit Justin Jefferson, he'll go off and make all of us look crazy. But I think right now, looking at the division game, getting to the stretch where you're playing more of your division opponents who you're not going to sneak up on, who have done, who are really built to beat, teams within their division. That's really why they get a lot of these players. I think that right now, probably for the next couple of weeks, I would cool off on Justin Jefferson as of right now.
Okay, and I want to, and that's a good point, Mike. Kirk Cousins do that, and if you got Kirk Cousins on your fantasy football team starting at your QB1, I advise you to go get Tua Tagovailoa or go get Justin or go get Herbert from the Los Angeles Chargers. You probably want to switch that game up a little bit. So, I mean, PPR league maybe, but a standard league I wouldn't trust the Kirk Cousins in the standard league. And also Pound4PoundATL. If y'all have any questions, put them in the comment and make sure you specify whether you got a PPR league or a standard league, so me and Mike can answer the questions accordingly to the league that you got the team in, right? So I want to jump to a Cowboy wide receiver really quick, and no, it's not Amari Cooper. I want to, and then we're gonna get to Christian McCaffrey down there with the Carolina Panthers, and then we're gonna go from there, Mike. So let's start off this wide receiver, this Dallas Cowboy wide receiver, and that's CeeDee Lamb. Now, with CeeDee Lamb, he was doing really good when Dak Prescott was in, right? And then the second quarterback, and then Andy Dalton came in, didn't do so well, and then DiNucci came in, didn't do so well at all. But you bring in a kind of like a veteran type of quarterback with Gabbert, and then he started to pick it back up. So if you got CeeDee Lamb, you got to kind of monitor the quarterback position, right? If Gabbert is in there, you want to play CeeDee Lamb. If DiNucci is playing, if Andy Dalton come back, you probably want to sit a CeeDee Lamb. That's what I think. I mean, even with an Andy Dalton, you probably want to put your CeeDee Lamb at a flex. I think CeeDee Lamb is a trade bait right about now. If
Right.
you need a running back or something or a tight end, if you can get good trade value out of CeeDee Lamb right now. But I think CeeDee Lamb is a quarterback accordingly type receiver right now. So when you got CeeDee Lamb and you ready to play him or sit him or whatever you want to make your decision on, you need to see who's starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys first before you make that decision. Now, Mike, give me your thoughts on CeeDee Lamb. What would you do with CeeDee Lamb? Would you sit him? Would you start him? I mean, flex, trade. I think he's a good trade bait right now. If you just ask me,
Right.
some people gonna bite on that. How you feel about CeeDee Lamb over there? And then we'll get on to Christian McCaffrey.
I think CeeDee Lamb is a guy that you can sell, but not necessarily for the same reason that you would sell a Justin Jefferson, right? They're both rookies,
Right,
both
right.
talented receivers, both explosive receivers, but I think that the quarterback situation for CeeDee Lamb handicaps him so severely that he can't really be trusted, and really nobody on the Cowboys can be trusted. And that goes all the way, right?
Right.
You know, if you look at the rookie receivers, just in the league as a whole, I think that not a lot of them are really just standing out, right? Because whether it be quarterback play or just kind of hitting that rookie wall. I will touch on a rookie receiver a little bit later that I think is a good bet to finish strong the rest of the season. But
Ooh.
a CeeDee Lamb is definitely somebody for me that is like, sell him. If you can trade him, good luck. But he might be a guy over the next couple of weeks that might be a safe release all the way off your team.
Yeah, you're right. Because that quarterback position is not gonna get no better with Dak Prescott. Because he was blowing up with Dak Prescott. Do not get it twisted. Go look at his
Exactly.
fantasy football numbers before when he had Dak Prescott. Boy, you'll be amazed. Okay, let's get to a day-to-day guy out, and we don't know if he's going to be out. We don't know if he's going to be in. He came off an injury. He might be injured again, and he's a big fantasy football guy. He was the number one RB1 running back coming out of going into the fantasy football draft, and that's Christian McCaffrey out for the Carolina Panthers. And I'm a Falcon fan, can't stand him, but when it comes to fantasy, the guy put up points. Now, injury wise, me and Mike don't really know what his injury is going to be, just like y'all don't. So you can kind of wrap your mind around what you want to do with him and how you want to do it. But if he's injured, okay, of course you're not playing. That's bar none. But I would take an 80% Christian McCaffrey over 100% Frank Gore, and there's nothing against Frank Gore, right?
Right.
and I'm not trying to be funny, but 100% Frank Gore is not going to put up the same numbers as an 80% Christian McCaffrey. So even if Christian McCaffrey day to day, which y'all need to watch out there, fantasy football fans, you watch that and monitor that to see. But if he's 80% playing, no question about it, right? So give me your thoughts on Christian McCaffrey, right? Do you agree? Would you play an 80% Christian McCaffrey or questionable over 100% Frank Gore or Zach Moss or Adrian Peterson type of people? Would you play an 80% Christian McCaffrey over these people? Or give me your thoughts on that, big dog.
Well, that's an easy one for me. I would play 80% Christian McCaffrey, just like I would play a 70% Julio Jones. Those are
There
guys
you
that you
go.
got it. Those are the guys that you got to get on the field, right? I think I buy Christian McCaffrey just because of the way Christian McCaffrey and Joe Brady is just scary to me. 80%,
Yeah.
70%. I think that they're going to find ways to utilize Christian McCaffrey to his strengths. If it's a rib, if it's a leg, whatever, they'll put him in positions where he might get less touches. I think again, if you can handcuff a Mike Davis, I think again, Mike Davis is a guy I really would hold on to if you got a Mike Davis.
Yeah, if you got
just
a Mike
because
Davis,
I think.
yeah.
Because I think, like I said, once they get down to the goal line, I really think that they're going to punch him in and he's going to vulture some of those touchdowns. That's the only concern I would have on a Christian McCaffrey. But Christian McCaffrey 80% is worth the start.
Right, and like I said and like I said, Pound for Pound ATL family and all the NFL fantasy football players out there, this is a day-to-day thing. It's questionable. We don't know exactly. Me and Mike not telling you he's injured, and me and Mike are not telling you he's going to start either. We're not telling you neither one of them. But if you got him for like an 80% type of guy, and he could possibly play, you need to monitor that all the way until Thursday night or till Friday night until Saturday morning when they put out the official injury report to figure out whether you're going to start him. Now, if they say he could play at 80%, then start him if you don't have nobody else. No question about it. All right,
Right.
Mike, I want to get to that rookie wide receiver that you're talking about that could explode towards the end. And then we'll give our last two standout players right before we end the show. Go ahead and get the people, fantasy football, Pound for Pound ATL family, everybody out there that's watching the show. Go give me that rookie that you said that everybody we waiting on the big dog because I
I
want to know.
think
I
that.
might pick him up.
So I think that and again, depending on when you see this show, he may not be on your waiver wire. But if you are looking at the show as soon as this drop, if you look on your waiver wire and Jerry Jeudy is on your waiver wire as a receiver, snatch him, start him, because I think that
Yes,
what the
sir.
Denver Broncos finally utilized, which we already knew, is that Jerry Jeudy is not only an explosive receiver. I really feel like he is one of those guys that, if you get him some help over the next couple of years, he can kind of retransform that offense in Denver, right? You know what I mean?
Right,
Because
right.
he is a guy that he is not a prototypical Denver receiver. I'd be interested to know how a South Florida guy from Fort Lauderdale, that area is adapting to Denver and the altitude and the winters and all that kind of stuff. But again, he is a guy that I really feel like will not only continue to grow, and I think he's got at least 3 or 4 more 100-yard games in him if he's healthy, just because they're going to feed him the ball because he's really the best thing that they have out there.
That's all I got.
To be
Yeah.
honest with you, offensively, because like I said, I think Philip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon, you really don't know what you get out of those guys, and I think Drew Lock has shown the propensity. Look at him back at Missouri. You look at the quarterback that he's been over these past couple of years. He is a gunslinger. And he is going to find a way to get that guy ball. So if you got Jerry Jeudy, start him ASAP.
That is a good one, Mike, because our beloved Atlanta Falcons just played them, and we see kind of the
You
touch of
believe
his
it? Y'all
ability.
know? We
So
know.
right now in fantasy football, Jerry Jeudy is the 36th ranked wide receiver in fantasy football right now, and he's available over 50% of y'all waiver wires right now. So you might want to pick him up. And I'm gonna run these numbers off on him for you real quick. And okay, I'm gonna just start with the New England game. He did 5. Kansas City, he had 4 points. The Los Angeles Chargers. This is when he started. He had 11.30, but against us he had 25.5. Now, if a wide receiver, don't get it, we love our Atlanta Falcons, don't get me wrong, but if a wide receiver, just like we said about Justin Jefferson, he put up 40 on us. Jerry Jeudy put up 25. Depending on Atlanta Falcons secondary, wide receiver, you might want to pick him up now. Now, he started off the season, he had 9 points against Tennessee, he had 10 points against Pittsburgh, he had 10 points against Tampa Bay, he had 14 points against the New York Jets. But you can see it's kind of a consistency there, you know. And like Mike said, he's kind of the only thing they got over there. You know what I mean? It really ain't nobody else over there for the Denver Broncos that really stands out. I thought Noah Fant could stand out, like I said in last show, but he seemed to be that high ankle sprain, which I had before. It just lingered forever. A high ankle sprain never goes away. It just depends on when somebody land on it or step on it and when it's activated again. So Jerry Jeudy, rookie wide receiver, Denver Broncos, great pickup if you need a wide receiver 1 or a wide receiver 2 or hell, even a flex, right? So I want to get to one of my standout players. I know majority of y'all should know who it is, and then Mike, you can get to your standout player, and then we can go ahead and close out the show. But I want to get to that Jacksonville Jaguars running back, Mr. J. Robinson himself. Now, if you do not have J. Robinson, shame on you. This guy been running under the radar, and he been putting up big time numbers. This is the type of guy where I would pair a CeeDee Lamb or I would pair some players together and try to trade for if you see somebody who is not truly not going to make the playoff or truly not even ordering a team or not even really playing no more, who got a bad record in the league, kind of at the bottom of your fantasy league. And if he got Robinson, Jay Robinson, the running back out of Jacksonville Jaguars, if he have him, you might want to try to trade for him because this guy has been on my team, and there ain't no question. It's no wonder why I'm number 2. I fell from 1 to 2. There's no question why I'm number 2 in my league simply because of him. And I'm gonna tell y'all, fantasy football players, fantasy football people out there, that's all they got over there. But Gardner Minshew not in the question. And Mike called out chalk last week, and that was a good call, Mike. That was a really good one. And if y'all picked him up, scoring off what Mike told y'all, and y'all won, y'all give my boy a shout out because that was a steal. But Jay Robinson is all the Jacksonville Jaguars got. And with Minshew being out, they're not going to throw the ball like they're supposed to. So this guy's going to do a lot of carry. Now, if they get behind, they got to pass the ball. I don't know if y'all seen that quarterback, Lupton, came in. I wouldn't pick him up off of fantasy off the waiver wire, by the way, either, because Minshew will be back. But if y'all don't have Jay Robinson, y'all need to try to get a trade some kind of way. That's my standout player for this fantasy football week. And if y'all don't have him, please try a way to get him. Give me your standout player for fantasy football, Mike. Up to this point or upcoming week. I know you did Jerry Jeudy, which was a good one. But who else you got on your mind, big dog?
Mine is kind of boring because I would say that down the stretch, because, the thing about fantasy that's important is that your championship is played just another week in the NFL, right? So It may be just another week for these guys, but for you, it matters. First of all, stay away from Chris Carson. I heard that Chris Carson called out a fan for saying screw your fantasy football team, blah, blah, blah.
That's a no-go.
Don't tweet at him. Don't ask him to get you that 12, 13 point PPR projection that he might have per game, because he might call you up. But again, my guy is boring, man. It's Devontae Adams. I think that if there's one guy that I want to see, if there's one guy that I think that if you got to trade for a guy, you got to let some of your higher value flex guys go. Maybe give you a high value flex guy and maybe a starter at running back or somebody for Devontae Adams. I really think that the pride that Aaron Rodgers has in Devontae Adams is rare, right? Because Aaron Rodgers has had some good receivers and some great receivers, some Super Bowl receivers in Green Bay. But I think that the way he talks about Devontae Adams is different than anybody else. I think that if you're a Falcons fan, you saw what they did without Devontae Adams. So with them, he will continue to demand double coverage, but I think that he is wanting to show the league right now that he is number 1 receiver in the league over a Julio, over a whoever. That's what he feels.
That's what he feels, yeah.
And again, this is an alpha number 1 receiver that is putting up numbers, and he helps his team in a way as well. But he's also a guy that I think that if you have the ability, somebody that has him, who's maybe let the season go, or somebody that really needs some running backs for a receiver, some vice versa, whatever. Devontae Adams is my spotlight guy, and I think that he will be strong for the rest of the season and may, for the second half of the season, lead the NFL in receiving, just to the type of the offense that the Packers run.
Oh, no question about it. Guy been putting up big dog numbers, and then if y'all don't know, that's Aaron Rodgers' favorite target. Holla at your boy. Man, hey, look, this is Pound4PoundATL. We giving y'all fantasy football knowledge. We dropping it on y'all. So if you kind of on the borderline about a fantasy football player or who you should play or when you should not play, tune in every Wednesday night. Now we're moving it to Wednesday night. We're not gonna do Wednesday morning. We're gonna move it to Wednesday night. Let's try to kind of cover some of these injuries. But always stay up on your lineup to make sure you ain't playing nobody that's on the bye, the COVID-19 list, and the injury reserve. But anyway, it go, man. Great show tonight, Mike. And this Pound4PoundATL. This is fantasy football. Hey, look, man. You can catch me on Twitter at Jimmy Obama. Hit me with any of your fantasy football questions, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. So, yeah, catch me on Twitter at Jimmy Obama, JIMMYOBAMA. And Big Mike, go ahead and plug your thing in. Big dog, let them know about this fantasy football thing we got going on, man.
Yes, sir. P4P Fantasy. Y'all follow your boy Mike, MIKE_DUB. Follow me. I try to follow back. DM me. Keep the conversations rolling. I always love.
All right, man. Hey, catch us next Wednesday night for some fantasy football talk. This is Pound4PoundATL. Shout out to JR, the hardest working man in show business, and we will catch y'all on the next show. Make sure y'all watch that live that happened yesterday. Enjoy, okay? Anyways, adios, man. Stay safe.